to, however they do it, I don't know, in this life, however we want to perceive that, to balance, to create some sort of balance. Because let's face it, we have to have some sort of balance, period. And
Yes.
it's just across the board. If we didn't, everything would fall apart.
Yes.
So there has to be with that some sort of balance. So to say everybody is suddenly going to make this massive leap would be to go ahead and go back to the belief that has been held in Christian faith for a long time, that no matter what your sins are, just ask Jesus for forgiveness, and it all just goes away. Which sounds like you don't process anything. You just say, ask for forgiveness, and it's all done.
Yeah.
But that might be so. But there's still going to be some sort of balance.
Yeah.
So I see that everybody is then having the opportunity to make those choices as to what they will believe now, what they're willing to believe. How far are you willing to step up? Are you willing to let go of your packaged beliefs? Your packaged beliefs are obviously things that you need to experience as part of your own personal processing as an individual in this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be infringing on that. So I think people who are ready to move into whatever that the next shift is, then they have the opportunity to make that kind of transition. I think the individual can make that transition. I don't think that it has to be collective. Even if we had, say, a mass amount of people go through some sort of shift in this time, there's always going to be some that are holding this concept of reality that they're not ready to let go of that. So because of the fact that past, present, and future obviously exist simultaneously, no matter what we think, this concept of reality is always going to exist somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always going to exist somewhere. So a lot of times we want to think that something is eliminated completely, but if science is also looking at the fact that all of this is overlapping, then we have to look at the fact that everything exists somewhere in some other point in time. Just because we're not experiencing it at that moment doesn't mean that it doesn't exist somewhere. It's sort of like being able to travel back to the past, at least in your mind at this time, you can travel back to a memory of a particular time.
Yeah.
and experience that, or even under hypnosis, experience that, and it's very real. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on here, but we have to look at the science of all of this.
Absolutely, and the basic idea is we don't even know, as you described before. If we talk about how people perceive reality of the world. I mean, I could say green, and you can say, yes, I see that color too, and we agree, but then, the nuances of that might differ, very much individually and so forth. And we're talking about potentially a very kind of subjective construction here that although we think that we're agreeing and we're conversing with other people and so forth, I believe at least that we're very much kind of living in our own universe, because it's very difficult to take ourselves out of our own, individual experience,
Mm-hmm.
or even brain, or how we perceive things, So basically, this could be a huge, as you say, in that regard, a game or even an experiment going on, and we were all kind of experiencing this individually.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah, you said it correctly. I absolutely agree. How many times do we talk to other people and we're ever so clear in what we say, and it gets completely misinterpreted? I don't know that we're hearing getting the same frequency, obviously, from those words coming out, the sound. I don't know that we're always hearing the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very, very interesting when you get to that level of it. It feels like again, we're back to that idea that this is very much an an awareness, I guess, that is experiencing its. This goes back to what Bill Hicks said, of course, but an awareness or a consciousness that experiencing itself subjectively, I mean, and it kind of slowly also is discovering itself and learning about itself in this process. And I think that we, as human beings, actually are part of that. In that sense, we are the ears and eyes and sensory perception of the universe. I don't know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you hit it on the head, because that's exactly what it is. This force, the source that we keep looking for, that is what is so funny. It's like the dog trying to bite its tail. What we're looking for is really ultimately us appearing in this manner, yet we ultimately really are the void itself, the 0 point, the nothingness of time, in its imaginatory process of seeing all that it could potentially be. And here we are, as that, as you said, as the eyes, ears, the experience of that, one potential unlimited source. So we are this, whatever we're looking for, we're ultimately it.
Absolutely. Hey, Sonia, we're kind of slowly approaching the end here of our first hour. I would love to continue talking more with you about duality and maybe go into a little bit more of the whole other form of control that we talked about in regards to the government and also some of the new age, the era of the new age that we are approaching. And I'd love to get your take on some of this, because I know that you've been writing on this and have some really interesting ideas and theories. So what do you think? Do you want to continue with us?
Yes, that sounds good.
Before we do that, though, I do want to mention a couple of your websites again. I want to get out the information for people who are interested in getting a copy of your book, The Holographic Canvas. So maybe you can just mention a few of your websites that you have out there, and also, of course, tell us how people would go about getting a copy of your latest book.
Okay, well, the book is called The Holographic Canvas, The Fusing of Mind and Matter. And you can go to my website, www.spiritinform.com, and you can purchase a copy through the site. You can get it through Amazon, but you can also purchase it through the site, and I, of course, can send you a signed copy at that time. I also do a radio show called Sovereign Mind Radio, www.sovereignmindradio.com, and I publish a magazine called New Corporate Body, and that's newcorporatebody.com. And it's all based on all of this information.
Excellent. So there's a few websites there for you to check it out. I will have these up on the radio information page, of course, to this program. But the main websites here is spiritinform.com and sovereignmindradio.com. Do check that out, and the rest of the links I will have up on the website as well. And I'm looking forward to our next part here as we continue more and talk more in the member section about some of the new age, basically, and the deception behind that. I also want to ask you a little bit about Obama and all the change talk that we have going on right now, and what that actually means in context of what we've talked about here before. But stay with us, Sonia, and we'll thank you very much for tuning in. We are continuing our conversation with Sonia Barrett, author of The Holographic Canvas, and we were talking about the construct, I guess, of the reality matrix that we're all living in. And in this second part here, I'd love to dive into more of the, I guess, second level to all of this, namely the human-created control system that we're living in, and how this kind of connects with various tangents in regards to religion, but also New Age, and even we can dub, I guess, spiritual ecology. This is fascinating in many areas here that we can touch upon. But basically, I mean, Sonia, I'd like to ask you a little bit about what you see in regards to where the government and where the control freaks, or where the control system is taking us, and also, I guess, what you see the purpose for what that is. I mean, we all aware by this, those who are listening to these types of programs and whatnot, about the new world order, about the agenda of global control of a one world government and so forth. Where do you see we're ending up here if this is something that is allowed to progress or continue?
Well, when I actually started to really take a look at what was going on, I mean, I think a lot of people are probably, not a lot, but those who are the people who listen to your show, if nothing else, can really recognize that the whole idea of this new